Hang there my verse, and witness of my love. And thou thrice-crowned queen of night, survey with thy chaste eyes, from thy pale sphere above, thy huntress name, that my full life doth sway. O Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts I'll character, that every eye which in this forest looks shall see thy virtue witnessed everywhere. Run, run, Orlando, carve on every tree the fair, the chaste, the unexpressive she.
And how like you the shepherd's life, Master Touchstone?
Truly, shepherd, in respect of itself, it is a good life. But in respect that is a shepherd's life, it is not. In respect that it is solitary, I like it very well, but in respect that it is private, it is a very vile life. Now, in respect it is in the fields. It pleaseth me well, but in respect it is not in the court. It is tedious, as it is a spare life. Look you, it fits my humor well, but as there is no more plenty in it, it goes much against my stomach. Hast any philosophy in thee, shepherd?
No more, but that I know. The one more sickens the worse, at ease his is. And he that wants money means a content, and without three good friends. That the property of rain is to wet and fire to burn. That good pasture makes fat sheep, and that a great cause of the night is lacksome. That he that hath learned no wit by nature, nor art made company of good breeding, of coming of very dull kindred.
Such a one is a natural philosopher. Wast ever in court, shepherd?
No, truly.
Then thou art damned.
Nah, I hope.
Truly, thou art damned like an ill-roasted egg, all on one side.
For not being at court, your reason?
Why, if thou never wast at court, thou never sawest good manners. If thou never sawest good manners, then thy manners must be wicked. And wickedness is the sin. And sin is damnation. Thou art in a parlous state, shepherd.
Not a whit, Touchstone. Those that are good manners at the court are as ridiculous in the country as they behave of the country is more remarkable as the court. You told me you sloughed not at the country, but you kissed your hand. The courtesy would be uncleanly if courtesies were shepherds.
Instance, briefly, come instance.
Were we all still handling our hooves, and they feels, you know, are greasy?
Why do not your courtiers' hands sweat? And is not the grease of a mutton as wholesome as the sweat of a man? Shallow, a better instance, I say. Come.
Beside, our hands are hard.
Your lips will feel them the sooner. Shallow again, a more sounder instance. Come.
And they are often teared over with the surgery of our sheep. And would you have us kiss tar? The country's hands are perfumed with civet.
Most shallow man, thou worms meat in respect of a good piece of flesh indeed. Learn of the wise and perpend. Civet is of a basser birth than tar, the very uncleanly flux of a cat. Mend the instance, shepherd.
You have too courtesy of wit for me. I'll rest.
Wilt thou rest down? Good help thee, shallow man. Good make incision in thee. Thou art raw.
Sir, I am true laborer. I earn what I eat, get what that I wear. Oh, no man hate, envy no man's happiness. Glad of other man's good, content with my harm. And the greatest of my pride is to see my ooze gaze and my lamp suck.
That is another simple sin in you. To bring the ewes and the rams together, and to offer to get your living by the copulation of cattle. To be bawd to a bellwether, and to betray the she-lamb of a 12-month to a crooked, patted, old cockedly ram, out of all reasonable match. If thou beest not down for this, the devil himself will have no shepherds. I cannot see else how thou shalt escape.
Here comes young Master Groom and new mistress's brother.
From the east to western end, no jewel is like Rosalind. Her worth being mounted on the wind, through all the world bears Rosalind. All the pictures fairest line are but black to Rosalind. Let no fair be kept in mind, but the fair of Rosalind.
I'll rhyme you so 8 years together, dinners and suppers and sleeping hours accepted. It is the right butter woman's rank to market.
Out, fool!
For a taste, if a heart do lack a hind, tell them seek out Rosaline. If the cat will after kind, so be sure will Rosaline. Winter garments must be lined, so must slender Rosaline. They that reap must sheaf and bind, then to cart with Rosaline. Sweetest nut hath sourest rind, such a nut is Rosaline. He that sweetest rose will find, must find love's prick and Rosaline. This is the very false gallop of verses. Why do you inflate yourself with them?
Peace, you dull fool. I found them on a tree.
Truly, the tree yields bad fruit.
I'll graph it with you, and then I'll shall graph it with a meddler. Then it will be the earliest fruit out of the country, for you'll be rotten ere you'll be half ripe, and that's the right virtue of the meddler.
You have said, but whether wisely or no, let the force judge.
Peace. Here comes my sister reading. Stand aside.
Why should this desert be? For it is unpeopled. No, tongues I'll hang on every tree, that shall civil saying show. Somehow brief the life of a man, running his erring pilgrimage, that the stretching of a span buckles in the sum of age, some of violated vows, twixt the soul of friend and fiend. But upon the fairest bough, or at every sentence end, will I, Rosaline, write, teaching all that read to know, the quintessence of every sprite. Heaven would in little show, therefore heaven nature charged, that one body should be filled with all graces wide enlarged. Nature presently distilled Helen's cheek, but know her heart, Cleopatra's majesty, Atlanta's better part, said Lucretia's modesty. Thus Rosalind of many parts, but heavenly sin was devised of many faces, eyes, and hearts. To have the touches dearest prized, heaven would that she these gifts should have, and I to live and die her slave.
O most gentle pulpiter, what tedious homily of love have you wearied your parishioners withal, and never cried, have patience, good people.
How now? Back, friends. Shepherds, go off a little. Go with him. Sarah.
Come, shepherd, let us make an honorable retreat, thou not with bag and baggage, yet with script and scrippage.
Didst thou hear these verses?
Oh, yes.
I've heard them all, and more too, for some of them had in them more feet than verses would bear. That's no matter, the feet might bear these verses.
Aye, but the feet were lame, and could not bear themselves without the verse, and therefore stood lamely in verse.
But didst thou hear, without wondering, how thy name should be hanged and carved upon these trees?
I was 7 of the 9 days out of the wonder before he came. For look here what I found on a palm tree. I was never so berhymed since Pythagoras' time, that I was an Irish rat, which I can hardly remember.
Trow, you who hath done this,
Is it a man?
and a chain that you once wore around his neck, change your color.
I prithee, who?
Oh Lord, Lord, it is hard matter for friends to meet, but mountains may be removed with earthquakes, and so encountered.
Nay, but who is it?
Is it possible?
Nay, I prithee now with most petitionary vehemence. Tell me who it is.
Oh wonderful, wonderful, and most wonderful, wonderful, and yet again wonderful, and after that, out of all the hooping
good my complexion? Dost thou think, though I am comparison like a man, I have a double and host in my disposition. When into delay more in the south sea of discovery, I pray thee, tell me who is quickly and speak apace. I would thou couldst stammer, and thou mightst pour the concealed man out of thy mouth, as wine comes out of the narrow mouth bottle, either too much at once or none at all. I pray thee, take the cork out of thy mouth that may drink these tidings.
So you may put a man in your belly.
Is he of God's making? What manner of man? Is his head worth a hat, or is his chin worth a beard?
Nay, he hath but a little beard.
Why, God will send more, if the man will be thankful. Let me stay the growth of his beard, if thou delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
Is it young Orlando that tripped up the wrestler's heel, and your heart both in an instant?
Nay, but the devil take mocking. Speak, sad brow, and true maid.
I faith, 'cause 'tis he.
Orlando?
Orlando.
Alas today, what shall I do with my dove and his host? What did he when thou sawest him? What said he? How looked he? Wherein went he? What makes him here? Did he ask for me? Where remains he? How parted he with thee? And when shalt thou see him again? Answer me in one word.
You must borrow me Gangruto's mouth first. 'Tis a word too great for any mouth of this age's size. To say A and no to these particulars is more than to answer in catechism.
But does he know that I am in the forest and in man's apparel? Looks he as fresh as he did the day he wrestled.
It is an easy to count atomize as to resolve the proposition of a lover. But take a taste of my findings him, and relish it with good observance. I found him under a tree, like a dropped acorn.
It may well be called Job's tree when it drops with such fruit.
Give me audience, good madam.
Proceed.
There lay he, stretched along, like a wounded knight.
Though it be pity to see such a sight, it will become the ground.
Cry, holla to thy tongue, pride it curvets unseasonably. He was furnished like a hunter.
Oh, ominous, he comes to kill my heart.
I would sing my song without a burden. Thou bringest me out of tune.
You not know who I am, woman? When I think, I must speak. Sweet, say on.
You bring me out, soft. Comes he not here?
'Tis he, slink by and note him.
I thank you for your company, but good faith I had as lief have been myself alone.
And so had I, but yet for fashion's sake, I thank you too for your society.
Good be with you. Let's meet as little as we can.
I do desire we may be better strangers.
I pray you, mar no more trees with writing love songs in their barks.
I pray you know more of my verses with reading them ill-favoredly.
Rosalind is your love's name.
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened.
What stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart?
You are full of pretty answers. Have you not been acquainted with goldsmiths' wives and conned them out of rings?
Not so, but I answer you right painted cloth, for whence you have studied your questions.
You have a nimble wit. I think 'twas made of Atlanta's heel. Will you sit down with me? And we too will rail against our mistress, the world, and all our misery.
I will chide no brother in the world by myself, against whom I know most faults.
The worst fault you have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault I will not change for your best virtue. I am weary of you.
By my troth, I was seeking for a fool when I found you.
He is drowned in the brook. Look but in, and you shall see him,
There I shall see my own figure.
which I take to be either a fool or a cipher.
I'll tarry no longer with you. Farewell, good Signor Love.
I am glad of your departure. Adieu, good Monsieur Melancholy.